Hi friends, Pastor Terry here. We are Okotoks Alliance Church. These are Thursday thoughts. I'm back on dry ground, flat ground, doesn't move. I don't know if you happened to take in Thursday thoughts last week, but I was on vacation helping a friend move a boat up the Canadian coast. It was cold, and it was a wonderful adventure. I really enjoyed doing it. I've never done anything quite like that. I mean, I've been on sailboats before, and I did some windsurfing and little, laser twos and things like that when I was involved in camp ministry a lot of years ago. And then I've had a couple of friends that have had, some nicer sailboats, larger, but nothing this large and nothing on salt water. So anyway, it was an adventure. And there was a very real sense in which I was an intern. I was a student. I was learning from my captain, learning to navigate. I took it into dock once. It was a pretty big boat to come into dock, and I stalled the engine as we're coasting in. And as long as you're moving on a sailboat, you can still steer it. And we managed. It was all right. Fortunately, the engine stalled when I'd already brought it down to a slow enough speed for us to coast. But you've got 25,000 pound boat floating through the water as it, So anyway, it was good. I made it. We made it, and it was an adventure. At one point, we were in about 4 or 5 foot seas, and the waves were coming over the bow of the boat. It was quite the adventure. My only regret was that I hadn't, videotaped it or something like that, just for posterity's sake. So these are some of the things that we get to do, and then a real highlight for me. On the Wednesday night, we were partway on our journey and had taken harbor in a little spot called Smuggler's Cove, which was a bit of a trick getting into. Jamie was at the helm, and we were in these 4 foot seas, but it had to go through a channel that was about 50 feet wide. Well, the boat's almost 20 feet wide, and so he's coming in, and we're not far out when we realized that, though the engine's idled down, we are now surfing on a wave that is pushing us in. And anyway, he navigated it like a pro, but it was one of those, Anyway, we're in this harbor. There were 3 other sailboats in this harbor as well, taking a bit of refuge or maybe even camping out for several days. It is a stunning place. Like, what a gorgeous place. I go out at about 1 a.m. on deck, and it was completely still, and the stars were out. There was not a cloud in the sky that I could, and so it's stunning because there is no light pollution whatsoever, and the stars were mirrored on the glass of the cove that we were anchored in, and it was just one of those oh my goodness moments, where you look at the beauty of God's created realm, and whether it's the beauty of the mountains. I've often spoken of that as I'm a skier. This was a different experience of his beauty and his splendor, and it was fantastic. Anyway, I was mentoring. I was being trained. I was learning some new skills. We're all learning. But there are seasons of our lives when often we are learning more. We are in a window of training. Maybe that was when you were in high school or when you were in college, if you had the privilege of post-secondary training. These windows of time when this is what my life needs to be about right now. Specifically, it's about training. But we never stop being students, or we ought not ever stop being students, learning from our environment, learning from our parents, learning from our peers, learning from our spouses, if you're blessed to be married, or from children, if you're blessed to be a parent. We're learning. And so that's what we've been in 1 Timothy over these past 12 weeks, as we have tried to learn under the mentoring of the Apostle Paul. Well, this coming week, we're going to do something a little different. We're going to let someone young teach us. Anthony Cave is our youth ministries intern, student at Ambrose University in a ministry track, and has about a year left on his training, a little more than that, in his coursework to complete his degree. But he's been with us since September, and one of my commitments to him was to give him an opportunity to teach. It's not that he hasn't done it before, but with us. So I hope you'll come. He's going to take us to 2 Timothy. We had this discussion, and we talked about, well, maybe it would be cool to have someone who's younger, who is in the process of a season of learning, to to talk to us about that. And is there a passage of scripture you'd like to take us to? Is there something that you'd be interested in? So he chose the scripture, 2 Timothy chapter 4, verses 1 through 8. And this is Paul again. It's his second letter to Timothy. I think one of the things I find 2 Timothy a sad letter to read. I love the Apostle Paul. I'm so grateful for his contributions. And as you're reading through this one, he is aware that he is in the final days or weeks or at the most months of his life. He is aware that he is going to die. And you both hear the urgency of that as he is just really concerned that we get some things, that he make one last pitch at securing our faith in Jesus and to stay a course, to walk a course that is reliable. And there's this urgency and there's this melancholy as well that's like, my life is being poured out like a drink offering. It kind of brings these final greetings toward the end. So anyway, that's a little bit of me on 2 Timothy, but Anthony's going to take us to this chapter 4, verses 1 through 8. Verse 2, preach the word and be prepared in season and out of season, correct, rebuke, encourage, with great patience and careful instruction. This is where we're going to go this Sunday. I don't know if you've ever thought about yourself as a preacher. There are some of us who, that is God's call on our lives. It's to teach, to preach. And yet, every aspect of our lives is to be a sermon. It's to be the evidence of God at work in us in such a way that others would look and learn and respond to the hope of Jesus through our lives. And so your work as a parent, you can be preaching. When you do devotions at a family dinner table, or when you tuck your child into bed and read a bedtime story, and maybe read something from a children's Bible or from your New Living Translation Bible, or whatever you have in your hand. We are constantly coaching and encouraging one another, and Paul's exhorting Timothy here. I think Timothy probably does more what I do, what Anthony will do on Sunday, preaching and teaching. But that doesn't negate the application of this to you in your life. And so let me just encourage you with that to come and bring your encouragement. Bring your encouragement to Anthony. I love him. He's a really lovely, godly young man who's still figuring out where's God calling him. And this is part of that process. And he'll go back to school, and God will keep investing in him. It's going to be really cool to see what God does in and through his life in the years that come. We are intending to bless him with a love offering. And let me encourage you to consider contributing to that. And just many hands make light work. Can we give him some resources for the year ahead as he goes back to school? Most of you know that he's also getting married, and so completely separate, but we are also doing a wedding shower for them, just wanting to bless them. Our youth are leading that, initiating that, and our youth ministry team together with our youth, and I'm so grateful to them, blessed by them. And so Friday night, I think it's April 29th, that'll be kind of a fun, lovely event too. Maybe you want to participate in that. So come and encourage and allow someone younger maybe to speak in your life. Maybe you're young and you're actually going to hear from a peer. That'd be fantastic too. And we're going to invite Jesus to continue to shape us and mold us, that we would look increasingly like him, because we're continuing to be trained and mentored and challenged. And so Sunday morning, 10 a.m. in person, 9:50 a.m. Our live stream begins. Kids Zone is open. We're wearing name tags again, just helping one another out. Good heavens. We all need that little, yeah, I know your name. What? If you're like me anyway, that's so. If for no one else, I am blessed by it and would be grateful for that over these coming Sundays. Our church family is excited to be together this coming Sunday, and I hope you can be among us. Bless you. And I'm Pastor Terry Lee. We are Okotoks Alliance Church. These have been Thursday Thoughts. Bless you and bye for now.